In an ancient Greek myth, the singer Orpheus entered the underworld to retrieve his love Eurydice. Hades took pity and allowed Orpheus to take Eurydice with him, so long as she walked behind him, and he didn't look back until they were outside. Just before stepping back into the light, Orpheus lost faith and looked back, banishing Eurydice forever. In another legend, Hades' wife Persephone was trapped in the underworld, having eaten the food. Japan, on the other side of the planet, has a similar legend. The deities Izanagi and Izanami were the creators of Japan and progenitors of key gods like Amaterasu. Izanami died giving birth to the god of fire, and when Izanagi went to visit her in the underworld, she made him promise not to look upon her, before revealing she could not leave because she had eaten. Like Orpheus, Izanagi betrayed his promise and fled after seeing his partner's rotting visage. Similar legends can be found in the Americas, with the coyote and the shadow people, or with the goddess Ishtar in ancient Babylon. Similar stories like this lead some to speculate about a shared earlier origin, the so-called Proto-Indo-European culture. Or perhaps different groups of people throughout time and space told similar stories because they were all dealing with the same thing, the inescapability of death. I'm Luke Summerhays, and I love Yveltal. I grew up in the UK with an atheist mother and a Catholic grandmother, so my cultural touchstones are rooted in those traditions. Although people around me believed, to varying degrees, in some kind of afterlife, it was an unknowable thing behind an impenetrable veil. Overall, I never paid much attention to organized religion and zealous doctrine. Since then, though, I moved to Japan almost 8 years ago and got engaged to a Mexican. I've discovered a less scriptural, more nature-based spirituality, and in the Japanese holiday of Obon and the Mexican Day of the Dead, I found ways to remember, celebrate, and live with the dead here in life. Perhaps life and death are not separated by such an impenetrable barrier after all. Yveltal is the One Who Takes, a dark and flying type legendary Pokemon, who appeared on the box of Pokemon Y. It has red and black skin like exposed flesh, and a white ruff like a vulture or another carrion bird, symbols of death thanks to their habit of feeding on the recently deceased. It has a shell-like black back, and by curling up and hiding its red innards, it can form a cocoon. Pokemon Y tells us, when its life comes to an end, it absorbs the life energy of every living thing, and turns into a cocoon once more. We hear about Yveltal first in rumors and stories. In Anistar City, an old man tells us, it happened about 800 years ago. The Pokemon known as Yveltal spread its ominous wings, engulfing the lands of Kalos in darkness. At that moment, people and Pokemon throughout the land began to fall one by one. Yveltal let out a piercing cry and took to the sky, vanishing to an unknown location. Stories say that when it nears the end of its 1,000-year lifespan, Yveltal absorbs the life force of the living things around it in order to charge its own energy. Another tale talks of the appearance of just such a terrifying Pokemon. Back 3,000 years ago, the Kalos region was engulfed in a terrible war. According to the stories, a Pokemon appeared and stole the life force of countless living beings. Some people suspect the Pokemon that appeared was Yveltal, but there's no way to know. Maybe they're just using a legendary Pokemon as a metaphor for war and pestilence. In the tales, after Yveltal finished storing the energy it had absorbed, it transformed into a kind of cocoon, remaining in hiding deep in the mountains. According to old tales, as I say. Tales and stories. Players of Pokemon Y will learn that some elements of this story are true, when Yveltal is found in Team Flare's lab, and almost used to activate the ultimate weapon. I used to think it made far more sense in Pokemon X, when AZ was using the power of Xerneas to revive his Pokemon. But perhaps that shows that I had not yet learned about the duality of life and death. On top of that, he was using Yveltal as vengeance to end the war, kind of like a metaphor for the atom bomb at the end of World War II. The name, Yveltal, combines an old spelling of the word evil with the ul sound at the end of Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec god, often represented by a bird or feathered serpent. And this sun god had a brother, Xolotl, a god of death and monsters and night. As well as vultures and Aztec gods, Yveltal also incorporates elements of Celtic and Norse myths, just as Xerneas drew from stags around the World Tree, so Yveltal is reminiscent of the eagle on that same tree, or Celtic raven deities. Pokemon X tells us, when this legendary Pokemon's wings and tail feathers spread wide and glow red, it absorbs the life force of living creatures. Just like with Xerneas, this hyperbole was matched by in-game capability. Yveltal didn't have anything as game-breaking as the Geomancy move, but the Dark Aura ability, which boosts all Dark-type moves, combined with the move Oblivion Wing, which takes back 75% of damage done, made a monster that was difficult to stop. In every competitive format where it has been allowed, Yveltal has found itself a very comfortable niche. As I write this, we have just taken down the altar in our house, and the ofrendas left to dead loved ones. Nonetheless, I still feel as connected to that love as ever. Without death, we could not define life, and life is worth all the rest. Music for Luke Loves Pokemon is by Jonathan Cromie. Artwork for the show is by Katie Groves. If you enjoy the podcast, find out about my other shows at podcastiopodcastias.org. Get in touch on Blue Sky at podcastpodcast, or support the show at patreon.com/podcastiopodcastias. If you want to see my slow playthrough of Pokemon Legends EA, check out twitch.tv/Buskalily. And I love hearing from listeners. Up next are Zygarde and Diancie, so hit me up about those or any other Pokemon. And even if you don't feel like doing any of that, thank you so much just for listening. I love Yveltal. And remember, I love you too.